Hello, my name is Gil. I am Yael Lois Dadz, and I will tell you a bit about the Hebrew language. Hebrew is a Semitic language, and it originates from the area of the Middle East. It is spoken by people in this country of Israel. It's very interesting because unlike English, where we read from left to right, in Hebrew we read from right to left, like so. There are 22 letters, as you can see here. This is Aleph, the first letter, Bet, the second letter, and so forth. And what's interesting is that the letters are quite squarish. They're in the shape of squares, most of it. There's not much round shape like S or O or X that we have in English. It's very much square. Another interesting thing is that some letters, while they are the same pronunciation, for example, this letter is the same as that, the shape changes. Although this is a pay, like P, and this is also pay, like P, they are the same. But if you write pay in the beginning or middle of the word, you will write it like so, in that shape. But if you write it at the end of the word, you will use that shape. The same thing with kaf, which is like K. That's in the beginning or middle of a word, but in the end of the word you will use this shape. The same here. One shape and a different shape, the same letter. Or here, this is nun, like N, written in the middle or beginning of a word, but at the end of the word, the same nun changes its shape and is written like so. The interesting thing about Hebrew is that there are not many words in that language. They estimate that there are 50,000 words in Hebrew compared to 500,000 words in English. So in English we have 10 times more words than in Hebrew. Also, in Hebrew we have an interesting system, as you can see here below the letter. For example, this is the first letter, Aleph, like A. You can see a dash, or a dash with a line, or two dots. This is the vowel points that will tell you how to pronounce the letter. So for example, this means A, as in father. And this, the same letter A, if you have two dots below it, you will read it as A. Here you will read it as A. Here it is A, because the two dots. If you have one dot, 1 point below the letter, you'll read it as E. So that's E, E, A, U. Now let's look at a cursive style of writing in Hebrew, which is similar to the English handwriting of the letter. Here you can see the same letter, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, A, B, C, which is much more round than before. So when you write using your hand, you will use those letters which are much more round in the shape and less squarish. Another interesting thing about the Hebrew is that each letter has a number, equivalent number. So Aleph is 1, Bet is 2, going all the way to the 10th letter, which is Yod, which equals the number 10. But look, the 11th letter, Kaf, jump from 10 to 20. Someone decided that now it should jump. So jump in 20, 30, 40, all the way to 100. And then jump into 200, 300, and 400. And sometimes when Jewish people talk about the year, they would not say 2012, but rather they use the combinations of the letters with the number. So for example, they could say today, 2012 is the year of Taf Shin Samech Ein. So they would not say 2012, but they would say the year is Taf Shin Samech Ein. We call it the Jewish year. That's the Jewish calendar. It is like we would say in English, the year is not 2012, but it is SDMR. SDMR, for example. The Hebrew language combines few words or letters into one single word. For example, in English we would say this sentence, for example, when we say, what is your name? In Hebrew, these two words, your name, are combined into one word here. This means your name, but it is only one word. Because in Hebrew we're using the root. Root means the basic letters that makes a word, and then we keep changing. So these two words means name, Shem, name. But when we add this, Chaf, we mean your name. So the whole word your in Hebrew is made of a single letter which is attached into the word name, into a single word. This is why when you write article in Hebrew, it becomes very short compared to English. The article is much shorter. Thank you very much.